Okay. Moonlord is at 190,500 about. I think like 497 or something. That is, strictly speaking, about an eighth of the way down his total HP. But I think it's going to be more than an eighth of the way down with the fight. I would guess that we're about 20 to 25, maybe 20% done with the fight as a whole, as a ballpark guess. Because of the connection issues earlier, I'm not going to bother with trying to watch videos while doing this. I'll see how long I can do this for. I got a lot of energy. Had plenty of time to rest. Hey, Ninja, how you doing? Also, how's the music volume compared to my voice? I've got Bugman coming tomorrow morning, so I'm not too worried about staying up late tonight, because I'm not going to be getting up early tomorrow morning, because I probably am not going to stream until like midday tomorrow, if not later, because pest control's coming tomorrow morning between 9 and 10 to spray, and then it's gonna smell unpleasant, and I'm probably just gonna like stay outside, go for a walk, stay in the sunroom until it airs out a bit and smells a bit better. Gonna take at least 40 streams? Probably, yeah. I mean, I am... The relevant metric that we can measure, it would be damage to his hands. He's at 22,415. Actually, I don't really have to do the math there. We've dealt, what, 27,000 damage, roundabout. His hands have a combined HP value of, let's see, 37,500, 7,500? Yeah. So we've done 2,700 out of 7,500, about a third of the way through the hands. A little over, but... Of the progress we can track, that's where we are at now. The goal is really just to finish before 1.4.5 comes out. Be awkward if the game, if the update dropped before I finished. The thing is, I could do this for a really... The problem that I have with doing this for a long period of time, it's not even focus, it's like... You know, I could think of a few ways that I could do this for a very long period of time on end, just to make progress. If I were to watch something, like, honestly, I could connect, like, I could just put a separate headset where I would have my laptop, watch something on there, and that would ease the passage of time considerably, and I could probably sit here for quite a while, because I've gotten into enough of a loop here where I don't really need to focus too much on this. I mean, for comparison, this is already at this point more time than any other Moonlord kill I've done, except for Copper Shortsword. I think we're still a little bit shy of how long Copper Shortsword took, but Flare Gun, Wooden Bow, I was already done with the Moonlord by this point. And I can sit here and do repetitive, monotonous things for a long time. It's just I don't want to burn myself out. But whoops. Didn't mean to teleport there. I think my initial stream estimate was like 50-something streams. The fade out is interesting on the Dead Cells soundtracks. Surprised it doesn't just do a cutoff, because I assume it just loops at a certain point, but I don't think it fades out in game. So I don't think they uploaded like just the straight audio file, because I imagine it would have a cutoff point in a loop, so they probably recorded it and then just had it fade out at the end of the track or something. Hey, Clover. So, what are all the different Roblox games you've been playing? Because I see you posting about them in the Gaming Small Talk channel a bunch. Nothing today? Yeah, there's no significant harassment today. I'm actually curious about the games. I mean, I'm not going to play them, but I'd be interested to hear about them. Dude, I'm sitting here grinding away at an Eldritch God with a lawnmower. I don't have much else to talk about. There's entry point. So, like, what's the repeated gameplay value of entry point? Are you, like... Because, like, there are missions, right? Are you just replaying the same missions? Do, like, they update it with new missions? Is there, like, a degree of, like, random generation? Don't be a Nazi or a sex spam bot. Yeah, I stand by those. You actually get those here? Yes. Not recently. I'm gonna, with no evidence whatsoever, say that that's because of the rules. They look at the rules and go, "Oh, I'm not allowed here," so they leave. Because that seems like something that Nazis or sex spam bots would do. But yes, it was quite a issue a while ago. Been a while though. There were a bunch of random Nazi trolls that would come. They were Russian as well, just random Russian trolls. I think largely related to, like, femboy things was why they were coming. Happened a lot during the dance pad stuff. Hasn't been much of an issue recently, like I said. And sex bots just come in randomly. That's more a tongue-in-cheek joke, as it's not like a sex bot's gonna read the rules. But it's mostly the not being a troll. There are 16 missions. Most of rooms are the same size, where the mission objectives are swapped around between them. One of them has every single room randomly switched around. So, like, is there good replay value there? Is it just, like, you're trying to... What do you get for playing? Like, I noticed you had money. Do you, like, buy things? Do you unlock things? Hey, hamburgers. Like, you've got different guns. How different are the guns? Like... I know Marley's pistol was better than your pistol, but, like, what makes it better? Money is for unlocking new guns. Okay. What was the game you were building a couch in? Oakland's? What is that? Just like House Flipper? In Roblox? I don't know. You can chop down trees and harvest ores and smelt them into barrels and sand the wood and sell it. Oh, so it's Terraria. The hell is this soundtrack? I mean, it's the Dead Cell soundtrack. I don't recognize this track though. Wait, no, is this the Morass of the Banished? But you can't mine and there's no bosses? I'm the boss. Hey, Deathful. How you doing? You can't dig, like, under the surface and there's outcrops of stone on the surface to break. Ah. So, your favorite Roblox game is still Canoe Without a Gun? Hey, JJ. The value of entry point comes from trying to beat missions with higher difficulties, which scales really well in stealth and loud. What did higher difficulties change? The number of times you need to do an objective? The number of enemies you face? The difficulty of, like... Or the number of items you can bring? Like, what scales? Objectives become harder, cameras and guards more frequent, you're detected quicker. Okay. And what was that game that I got you? A battle bit or whatever? Sometimes that areas are modified to block off certain routes, the objective can entirely change. Okay. Battle bit 127 versus 127 team deathmatch on a giant battlefield. What do you play to? Like, is it... What kind of I assume it's a shooter. Is it like an arena shooter a la, like, Halo? Do you have loadout you spawn in with? Each team has tickets, about 4,000 at the start. Okay. I assume respawning takes a ticket. And if someone dies, your team loses a ticket. First to zero loses. Is it first to zero loses, or first to zero then you have to wipe everyone out? Different games do ticket systems differently. Feels weird to have the system counting down and then not have to kill all the existing players. Because usually with ticket systems like that, it's respawns, then you run out of respawns and you have to all die. When someone dies, they're in a DBNO state on the ground, regardless of how they died. Everyone has bandages to stop their own bleeding or revive someone. Okay. Just ends when you hit 0 tickets. Yeah, that feels like the counting down thing is pointless. It might as well just be counting up to a certain score. Because... like, it might as well just count up from 0 to 1,000. I guess you might view it psychologically a little bit different, but... if you... DBNO, I assume, means, like, down but not out or something. That you arrived in the ticket. Okay. Can Duke Fishron stop stealing your memes without giving credit? The boss? What? Oh, isn't that like a YouTuber? I mean, the thing with memes is that, like, you can't stop other people from reposting them. You can watermark them. You can comment and complain if they do it, but it's basically just an image that people copy. Kind of shitty to just post and act like you made yourself or without crediting the people, but it's tough to do much about it. So you wanted to get Battle Bit Theaters because you wanted it, or like to play with Bismarck, or what? I've been busy recently, haven't been able to join many voice calls. Been out of the loop on that one. Battle Bit and Battle Block Theater are very different. Did I say one? I meant which, I don't... like, they both have battle followed by something with a B, and then they have... I said Battle Pit Theater. Whatever. close enough. You got Cruelty Squad yesterday? I remember somebody mentioning that game. That's the one that has, like, really shitty graphics, right? How is it? Oh. Really good. I forget. Was it a shooter? Definitely deserves the 96% positive rating. Better than you could say for some other high-ranked games, yo. I feel like there are two types of games that have very high user ratings. The first are games that are just, like, genuinely really, really good. And the second are games that are very niche or specific, and most people that play them don't have a particularly negative experience. They just give up and never leave a review. But the people that, like, really like the game are really into it and leave positive reviews, which I think is the situation that, like, Noida is in. And just thinking about video game reviewers, like, not like Steam reviews. I mean, like, the people who publish, like, you know, gaming magazines and, like, leave reviews online on various websites and things. I remember when I was a kid, this would have been back in, like, 2007? I had started getting subscriptions to Game Informer magazine, which was basically just a video game related, I think it probably still exists, a video game related publication that basically just had a bunch of reviews and information about different games. And I remember I would spend so much time, like, poring over those articles and reading about different games and things. And thinking back on it now, it's a very weird thing, because as a child, you essentially just took what the reviewer said to be true. Like, oh, this is a 6 out of 10 game. It's not worth getting. Or, you know, this is particularly interesting or cool, or, like, they had, like, flowcharts, and they really didn't have any authority. It's not like I had any particular reason to listen to them or take their opinions to be fact, other than the fact that they just had a publication that I was reading, and I was young. I just operated on this assumption, like, oh, these guys know video games. They play a lot of video games. They must know what they're talking about. How come so many video game reviewers for, like, IGN-type websites are so bad at video games? It depends on... That's not true. Video game reviewing does not require you to have skill in the field. That is a misconception. Video game reviewing is more about being able to write articles and play video games. You don't have to be good at video games. And if anything, I would argue, to an extent, video game reviewers that are not particularly good at video games are probably going to be more genuine reflections of the average gamer than people who are very skilled at video games. Now, obviously, you know, when you're looking at difficult games, there are going to be people who are very easy to laugh at for just sucking at video games. Like the Cuphead reviewer who spent, like, forever on the tutorial or something. Or, I remember, hearing about a story when, like, Dark Souls 2 was coming out. Somebody had gotten, like, early access to it, and they were stuck at, like, the last giant for hours. But, like, most people who are going to be playing video games are not going to be hardcore gamers. They're going to be more casual gamers. And I feel like reviewers who play games more casually will probably be a better gauge of how the average gamer would view a game. But I think the reason is probably largely because video game journalists are probably just, for the most part, regular journalists who are being tasked to play video games to write reviews or articles about them, rather than people who are gamers who are then turning into journalists. I feel like a lot of game reviews are below even the casual game level. I mean, I don't really read game reviews, ever, so I can't really speak too much on that. There may be some selection bias there, though, where you know, you notice the game reviewers who are so clearly really awful, and then a lot of the ones that are just average or even good at games, you don't really notice because they're not notable. Whereas the things like the Cuphead one are very much so like, holy shit, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. Wait is Terrorist. Moonlord always spawn. I don't understand the question. Could you rephrase it? I mean, I imagine a lot of the people who are... I don't know, I've always gotten the vibe that video game journalists are less gamers who then choose to be journalists and more journalists who get assigned to reviewing video games. I have no idea of the validity behind that statement, but that could explain a lot of these reviews. What is the challenge of this game? Right now, we're trying to kill the Moonlord with a Lawnmower. We've beaten the entire game up to this point with the Lawnmower. The Lawnmower is a very low damage, difficult to use weapon. And that's an understatement. It's extremely bad. This is the final boss of the game, if you're not familiar with Terraria. We've been doing this for about 20-something hours. I've been pausing the game to stream it over multiple days. This is the final boss and, like, the main final objective. There are a lot of nuances that are happening that I have to keep in mind to stay alive and prevent him from healing, because he can't heal if I mess up. Terraria's challenge mostly comes... it's a bit like So it's a sandbox game. If you're asking about Terraria in general, it's a 2D game where you mine, get better gear, and then essentially try to kill bosses. It's a 2D sandbox RPG, where the intention is to kill, well, ultimately this final boss. Internet destroyed? Uh-oh. Yeah, I haven't read, like, video game reviews for quite a while. I mean, I'll look at Steam reviews sometime. Because honestly, I would prefer reading through a bunch of Steam reviews as opposed to, reviews from, random, publications, because I feel like those are, they feel more genuine. I hear you end game too. Does that mean you're in the end game or you've beaten the game? You finished the game twice, what you mean is what challenges the video-wise, they're always Moonlord. The challenge is killing the Moonlord with a lawnmower. The weapon, the lawnmower. The Moonlord is always here because it takes a very long time to kill him with the lawnmower. The lawnmower is what you buy from the golfer. It deals classless damage, 8 damage, which after defense to the Moonlord deals 1 damage. It has very specific attacking requirements where you need to be walking in the direction that it's facing. I should kill with lawnmower, okay? Well, I'm trying to. Hey, Cannon. I don't know. Reviews are weird because at best they're just suggestions based on somebody else's experiences. I mean, I have had an absolute blast with games that have had really bad reviews. And I've had really awful times with games that have had really good reviews. Probably the two best examples of the latter would be Pizza Tower and Noida, both of which have extremely high Steam reviews. I think Pizza Tower has a lot of positive reviews from a lot of publications too. I don't know about Noida. But I did not really like either of those games. Pizza Tower I recognized was a good game that I could see people having a lot of fun with. I just I couldn't do it. There was too much visual noise going on. It gave me a headache to play, and I didn't really vibe with the gameplay that much. The whole just running fast. Whereas Noida, I've talked about Noida enough. Yeah, so just because a game is a lot of people have given it positive reviews doesn't mean you personally are going to like it. And similarly, I remember back in like the 360 PS2 era, there were a lot of games that I played that had really bad reviews that I had a lot of fun playing, not because they were good games, because they were fun to break and things. Like, a good example, an RPG game that came out around the same time as Oblivion, called Two Worlds. And Two Worlds was a broken, glitchy, buggy mess with incredibly shitty voice acting. But God, that game was fun to play. And break, and it was so horrendously unbalanced. You need them to know if the game is worth the money. It's tough because ultimately it's a decision that you have to make yourself, and you won't know until after you've bought the game. Me. Yeah. 18750 on the left hand is when we'd swap over. Because once that left hand's at about half HP is when we're gonna want to switch to fighting it instead. I think. thank you, YouTube, for randomly pausing the playlist that I am playing for no reason whatsoever. Yes, I want to continue watching. I'm trying to listen to music. Please just let me listen to music. He spent $20 on Little Misfortune, only ended up hating it, and the views were very positive. Yeah. Like, I know, I have a friend who is, who likes a lot of Metroidvania things, but really does not like Hollow Knight at all. Despite it being a really positively reviewed game, a lot of people like it a lot, but it is just not, he doesn't vibe with it. Hey, Sharktails. This is Purgatory, this would be it. If there was Purgatory, this would be it. It should not be that bad of a Purgatory. You don't really like Hollow Knight. I know it's a good game, but you don't like it. Yeah, I mean... hold on. People are more inclined to leave a positive review than a negative review? Yes, especially with more niche and cult classic, or cult-like games like Noida. So, need to talk, what the fuck is the deal with the progression in Dead Cells so weird, haven't seen anything like it? What do you mean? Can you please elaborate on what that is referring to? How did I damage the top eye? There was a teleporter right next to the top eye. I just changed the teleporter that I'm teleporting to. The orange guy that was following you in Rain World turned blue? Nice. Everything resets except the layout, the entire structure, your weapons reset, everything you have resets. You just haven't seen anything like it. That is a very common trope in roguelike and roguelite games. Like The Binding of Isaac, I mean, things like, I feel like Binding of Isaac is the most popular one, and the easiest to compare it to something else. Yeah, Binding of Isaac, Enter the Gungeon, Hades, I mean, effectively Slay the Spire, when you think about it. It is a roguelite deck building game. It's a procedurally generated area, and the progression between areas is the same. How are you supposed to beat bosses? So basically what you do in Dead Cells is each time you play the game is a different run. And the goal of your run is to beat bosses and eventually beat the game. And the game is, you know, each run is only going to be, you know, if you win, 40, 50 minutes, maybe an hour long, half an hour if you rush. And what you're trying to do is find good gear and upgrade your character, to be able to beat things. And you lose all that gear whenever you respawn. There are a couple of permanent upgrades you can get, but for the most part, you'll reset to the beginning every time you die. And you beat bosses by, getting better at the game and unlocking better gear. As you do things, as you play Dead Cells, you will unlock new items. If you've beaten a level and you've seen the collector at the end, where you give him cells to unlock things, that lets you unlock gear that'll show up in future runs. You know, you can unlock new weapons, mutations, and there are a couple of permanent upgrades you can get that'll give you permanent abilities that you'll carry with you for the rest of the game. As you essentially keep diving back in, you keep making progress. And the game's not easy to beat. Like, it'll probably take you a few runs before you beat the final boss. But as you do things, you'll notice new stuff being unlocked and new things happening around you. The design of dead cells, while it's not going to be exactly the same, is common in a lot of roguelike and roguelite games. Rogue Legacy, there's another one. Immortal Redneck. There are a lot. It's a popular genre. Can keep going on for a few weeks. We will see how long it takes, Canada. I will do it for however long it takes. Am I doing it with a script or by hand? I'm doing it by hand. I've been increasing my damage efficiency. I'm dealing, this hour, probably like 1,300 damage. Which is pretty considerably higher than the, 1,000 estimate I had been working with before. I've gotten better at manipulating that hand to actually be hittable, and damaging the left hand when possible. It has to do with going at it when it's already starting to move right a little bit so that I walk with it. If I do it optimally, I can hit it 4 times. Usually I'll hit it 2 or 3 times. Like right... Yeah, that wasn't very good. Now. Oh. I'm tired. Hypothetically, if I manage to die even with the setup, would I restart the fight? No. I'm only going to give this one attempt. Try to get me killed? It's possible. I think it's likely, but it's possible. Over 1,300 damage this hour. Oh, really pumping up a DPS. It's like almost a third of a DPS. Oh. I see you, Deathful. Have fun. Damn, we're gonna break 1350. No way I'm gonna get up to 1400 damage in an hour, but you know, if I didn't have to alt tab to like manage, you know, starting the playlist and things, we potentially could have been working on 1400 damage in an hour. Or hours of playtime, I think it'll take for the kill. I don't know. How many hours does it take to get this far? Honestly, I don't know. I haven't been keeping count. No, I mean, Am I gonna reach it? 1400 damage in 1 hour? That's 40% better DPS than, yeah, that's 1400 in an hour. Yeah, it happened a couple days ago, Ninja. I mean, if we keep up that pace, that is gonna shave off a lot of time. You know, my initial estimate was around 1,000 an hour, and then we bumped that up to like 1,100. But whatever I'm doing now, the specific way that I'm damaging these hands is much more effective than what we had been doing before. The way that I'm keeping track of how they're moving. Is this master mode? This is expert mode. Well, strictly speaking, it's journey mode. Set to expert mode. Oh. I'd have to change the hand that I'm attacking somewhat soon. I think another 6,000 or so damage to that left hand, and then I'm going to swap it up. Well, actually, maybe I don't, now that I look at it. Hold on. The left hand is damaged almost as much as the right hand. I might be dealing more damage to the left hand than the right hand. Like, I think I'm hitting the left hand a lot more on the clapback now, and I might be out DPSing the right hand on the left hand. And that could explain why we're dealing so much more DPS, is because I'm hitting the other hand more efficiently. Which means I might not actually need to change the teleporter that I'm going to, because these two hands are only 3,000 HP apart. One's down 16,000, the other one's down, like 13,000. So in the grand scheme of things, that's really not very much different, and I may be able to just not change teleporters at all until the very end. We'll have to see. Be convenient. It'll be annoying having to switch the teleporter. I'll have to change my muscle memory too. I am winning, yeah. Hey, PWIWQ. It's a slow victory, but a victory nonetheless. Oh. Oh. Alright, we're about to pass 188888. Imagine if I die. I mean, it's possible. Be unfortunate. There we go, 188888. We're past it. Oh. Oh. At the rate I'm dealing damage now. Hold on. I do almost 300 damage in 10 minutes, which would mean... I'm actually doing a lot more than 1400 damage an hour. Because whatever I change to start doing, I think hitting this backhand on the return trip more frequently, I must have only started to do midway through that hour, because the rate that I'm dealing damage now would get me more in the ballpark of like 1700 damage an hour. Which is considerably higher. Oops. Messed up the timing there. I guess we lose DPS on things like this anytime I mess up and have to go away. Oh, oh. You died in the Dracula fight? I don't have the Castlevania DLC, so I'm not familiar with the Dracula fight. That is the DLC, and I think the DLC content is generally more difficult than the base game, at least the bosses. So while you're still learning, it may be a better idea to go for the base game bosses. Although, I mean, the first boss that I killed, the first final boss, was a DLC boss, so it's not like you can't do the DLC content. Because the first final boss that I killed was the Queen in the Lighthouse DLC. The Queen's whatever. So, like, you absolutely can. I don't know whether Dracula's a final boss or just a mid-game boss. But, just as a general statement, if you feel like that was particularly difficult, the base game bosses would probably be easier. The general base game progression is going to be the prison to either the toxic sewers or the promenade of the condemned, and then going to the ramparts, and then going to the Black Bridge and fighting the concierge, and then going to Stilt Village, going to the clock tower, fighting the timekeeper, then going to the castle and fighting the Hand of the King. Like, you had a good weapon, you had the starter sword. The rusty sword? Did you not find a better one? Have you gotten Dead Cells? Are you asking me time death? I've beaten boss cell 5. Still saying you didn't find a better sword. Did you find a better anything? Like, you just didn't get any weapons? One of the things that can help with that, Nabra, is, there's an upgrade you can get at the Collector that's like, it randomizes your starting sword, out of the ones you've unlocked. Which basically means you always get something that isn't just the basic rusty sword, or whatever. Oh. When's the next Rain World stream? I don't know. I don't currently have any Rain World streams planned. This is going to take a long time. Certainly not for a couple weeks. I've thought about doing blindfolded Rain World. That would be the potential next Rain World thing that I would do. But yeah, not anytime soon. Is going to stream next after I beat Moonlord? Yes. Although I'd probably take time to edit videos. I wouldn't, you know, immediately after this jump right back into streaming. Oh. How tall am I? 5'9" 3/4. I have 7 on the dot. Yeah, but you're like 14. You'll probably grow more. Right? Wasn't that what you said? God, YouTube, please. Stop doing that shit. Oh. Huh. Do I know any other languages? Not really, no. Is the simple answer. I mean, I studied Japanese in college, but I have not practiced Japanese recently. I'm quite rusty on it, so I would not by any stretch say that I would be able to hold a conversation without refreshing for a week or two. Georgian is your first language, English is your second, you're learning German, you really want to learn Spanish. That's cool. I don't really have much need to learn a second language, so it would mostly be recreational. And I'm at the point in my life where learning additional languages is not easy. So it's not something that I really have much interest in trying to do. That's pretty neat. Are you living in Georgia then? Is that where you're from? Nice. What's it like in Georgia? I don't really know very much about the country. You play goddamn ruthless? Regarding what? Like, how are they ruthless? The views are quite good. What do you have views of? Is it like mountainous regions? Is it just like really beautiful countryside? Is it like a view of a sea? What I'm really not very familiar with Europe, aside from the fact that I believe it's Eastern European. And even that I'm only like 70% sure of. The aggressor over the smallest ship? That's never fun. Mountains are good. You have a lot of lakes that are beautiful to look at. Banned topics are banned topics. Bring them up and you get punished. Showing the stream, how long is this current attempt taking? This has been going on for 20-something hours. I don't remember the exact time. It's only been one attempt. I have not had multiple attempts. Out of old buildings, some being made in the 5th century. Explain the strategy contraption I'm doing. The gist of it is I need to hit his hands, which would stay horizontal to me and keep moving. And the problem with the lawnmower is the lawnmower is only capable of dealing damage. It only has a hitbox if you are walking in the direction the lawnmower is facing and standing on the ground. So we can't just fly around and hit the hands and whatever. We have to be walking towards them. And so in order to do that, I have a couple of teleporters set up to put me close to the hand so I can just keep walking at it whenever I get close, as you can see is going on here. And I can hit that left hand on the clap back here and hit this one when I move over here. And that allows us to deal damage to his hands. The top eye, there's another teleporter up there. We'll deal damage to that later, but that's not anytime soon. However, the Moonlord has a self-healing mechanic, which is why we teleport to the side every once in a while. It's about to come up now. There. He sends out his tongue every... it's on a 15-second cooldown. Roughly. And if he hits you with his tongue, he will inflict the Moonbite debuff. Which then enables him to be able to spawn healing clots that fly back to him and then heal him. However, you can despawn the healing clots by teleporting. And you can also avoid the tongue by teleporting, because the tongue does not teleport with him, neither do the clots. So, by utilizing this teleporter, we put ourselves a distance away, we move him over there, we spawn the tongue, and then we come back, and that avoids his healing. Hey, Pink Mimic. And our damage has, just today, gone much higher than it had been before, as I've refined my strategy, essentially. At this point, I am dealing... $1,600 damage an hour, it looks like. Which is up massively from like the 1,000, 1,100 I had been working with in the past. Which is quite good. There's some weird details in your history. If you want to know, just ask of what it is. What kind of details? I mean, I'm not very familiar with Georgian history. I don't know what that's referring to. If it's something that like is like amusing, entertaining, if it's something that's like really weird, I don't know. What kind of details? Yeah, doing that, we deal a very small amount of damage, but we can keep it up and we can whittle him down over time, and then gradually kill him. However, obviously I cannot do all of this in one stream, so whenever I feel like pausing, kind of disturbing. Well, if it's disturbing, you don't have to describe it in detail. I mean... Like, I have no idea what pretty weird details are. If it's something disturbing, you don't have to say what it is. Yes, I can pause the game. To just pick up progress another day. And there have been a couple times where the game has crashed. And when that happens, I just take a second weapon. It's happened twice. And I just take a second weapon. I make note of the damage he had been at before the game crashed, and then I use that weapon to get him back to that HP value. And then we just go from there. So relatives fighting over power and one of them blind the other in a horrible way. That's not pleasant. Yeah, I don't think we need to go into too much detail about that. I used to just, like, smash my head against a brick wall as a kid for fun. When I was in, like, elementary school, I would just go outside and just, like, line up my forehead against the brick and smash it into the brick. And I just, like, did that for fun. That was just, like, entertainment. Like, oh yeah, shit, let's, hanging out with my friends. Oh yeah, let's go out to the brick wall. Let's, hit my head against the brick wall. I sound like a kid who bites people. Nah, but I would dig my nail into my nails into other people. I had sharp nails. Okay, but what if I regurgitated a brick wall, Molly? What about that? Punched walls, you know they are in Europe, rough as hell. I don't know how they are in Europe. I don't live in Europe. I take your word for it, though. But I can eat it again? Exactly! Yeah, I did a lot of weird things as a kid. I remember... I was talking with my sister about this the other day. There was... So, in our old house, I used to live in New Hampshire. In an older house. And I lived... It was a 3-story house. There was a basement and then 2 stories above it. It was built on a hill, with the basement going down into the hill. And I lived on the ground floor. And my sisters lived upstairs. And there was, like, I forget the exact word for it, but, like, a very creepy attic-like thing. There was basically a door in my sister's bedroom that was never opened. Because it led to, like, some, like, attic thing. That she was just, like, terrified of as a kid. Because she just had this creepy-ass door that she couldn't open, and she would just, like, hear noises from the other side of it. You know, pipes settling, small animals getting in there. And there was a point in time where she had a wasp nest, on the other side of the door. In her room. So a king who didn't have any sons, only a daughter. He was old, so he wanted. I'm not reading all that, but I'm sorry that happened to you. Or glad it happened if it was good. I remember, as a kid, the brick wall head smashing is just going to make my children have incredibly thick skulls. I don't think it's very likely I would have children. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm bi and have plenty of game, but I don't like kids. Like I talked about the other day, I have misophonia. I cannot stand certain noises. I fucking despise the sounds that most children make. Also, like, I'm sorry, having children just sounds like a really good way to ruin a relationship with somebody that you care about and like. It is Eastern European? Okay, yeah. That's what I thought, but I wasn't entirely certain. My knowledge of Georgia is very scattered. I know a little bit about it from, like, playing Civ games. How come? What, children ruining a relationship? Because you essentially take a relationship that probably doesn't have that much stress in it, between two people that really care about each other and have time to spend on each other, and then you take out the ability to spend a lot of time on each other because you're going to be spending that time on the child instead. You add a lot of stress. You add sleeping issues. You add all of the wave of hormones and emotions that come over a post-pregnancy woman. And it really changes relationships. Yeah, you take your freedoms away big time. I would much rather spend the money and time that I could have spent on a child with my partner who I care about. Afternoon sorbet is my favorite flavor of sorbet. I'm fond of raspberry sorbet. Strawberry's pretty good too. Probably one of those two. Yes, and in this current economic state, having a child sounds like a pretty awful idea. Great time to have sex, not a great time to have kids. You're an easy, difficult child, very quiet. You even refuse to feed from the breast. And, oh yeah, and everything that I said operates on the assumption that you have, you know, a relatively normal child who's not particularly difficult. You know, even in the best of circumstances, is what I describe. In the worst of circumstances, you get a kid who is, like, extremely difficult. Maybe they have a developmental disorder. Maybe they, have some disability, in which case your life is going to get a hell of a lot more stressful. And, like, it really just seems like a good way of, putting a wrench in a good relationship. Like, also, the other thing is, having a kid means that no matter what happens, if at any point in time going forward, you split up with the partner that you had a child with, it is way more difficult to split up with somebody that you had a kid with than to split up with somebody that you did not have a kid with. You get into custody battles. You know, if you're married, divorce attorneys, child support and alimony, visitation rights, Some problems can be solved with adoption. Yeah. But, like, I don't really want to adopt a kid. You very literally apparently bit a dog in an airport? Why? That just seems rude. Oh, also, humans need to transition to purely maternal care? No. What? No. How is that your takeaway? You're just showing what is happening? We're talking about children. Yeah, the other thing with the child is I don't like commitments like that. Like, you have a kid, you're committing to 18 years, if not longer, of essentially dedicating your lifetime and money to that. And I'm sorry, I like my lifetime and money. This way dad can become a dad again somewhere else. Okay, but what about the mom? Like, there's a big gaping hole in this plan, which is the fact that women exist and can't just be neglected and ignored and going like, I just take care of the child. Hate the skull emoji so much. I think it's overused. I don't mind it too much, though. Unless you mean, like, the design of the emoji. I have 3 messages on Discord. Are they important? They can go for an hour. You need to biologically transition? What the fuck does that mean? You can't just flip a switch and just go, ah, yeah, up the maternal instinct in humans. That doesn't work. That's not... Like, you can't do that. What do you mean, biologically transition? A shift like that, you need to figure out which hormones do that and then add them to the water. Flaw in your plan, men drink water too. Don't know if you realize that one. You heard crazy shit, but this is obscene. I mean, I'm fairly certain it's just bait, but it's entertaining to play around with. Hopefully men work on a different set of hormones. I have bad news for you. Is your favorite emoji? What is that? Is that like a Christmas code? That's what it looks like. It's a video call? Oh, that's like a phone? That totally looks like a Christmas code. Please don't make the gingerbread man dab, Marley. I don't like the ginger dab man. My sister goes to a game store sometimes to play Magic the Gathering. And she's told me of this one guy there that just, like, dabs all the time. Like, he'll just perform the most normal actions and then transition them into a dab. Like, sneezing and then going in for a dab. Or, like, dropping something, going in to pick it up, and then going in for a dab. And then just, like, go about his life normally. Like, he just does this. This man just walks around and dabs. He doesn't talk to people about it. Nobody laughs at it. He just does it. How do you even turn picking something up into a dab? I think, like, you pick it up, and then when you come back up, you swing your hand forward, into your face, and then you dab into it. Like, you pick it up one-handed, then you bring the item up, and as you bring it up, you move your, elbow pit in front of your face. What time am I? It is 4 in the afternoon, which would be 1600 in 24-hour time. You can travel in time, but only forward? Wow, what a loser. You can't even travel back in time? Bro, it's called remembering. What music is this? This is the Dead Cells soundtrack. I don't know what track on the Dead Cells soundtrack this is. Did I ever eat scabs as a child? Why would I eat somebody that a company hired to replace a striking worker? That's cannibalism. If you got a scrape on your knee, you ever eat the scabs that formed? No, but I would just eat myself. Like, I would just, like... suck on my own skin and, like, give myself a hickey on, like, my arm. I mean, it tasted good. Is this what unemployed people do? Children are unemployed, so I guess. People have some No. I do not have any disgusting habits. You can't look at a single thing I did as a child and say that was disgusting. Not one. The chip sandwich? No, that's not disgusting. It's food. You're just eating food. And besides, like Charmeleon said, all kids do random, weird, and gross shit. I never said that I still do it. What lies did y'all believe as a kid? Trickle-down economics? That's not a lie? What, gum not being digested? It doesn't get stuck in your stomach. I mean, gum is, like, genuinely, like, rubber and plastic. Or at least it's like a synthetic rubber, that just has flavoring added. I think it just passes through your digestive system, though. Like, it does get stuck. That'd be absurd. A tummy full of gummy? Better than a tummy full of... Parents never lied to you? You have a tummy full of bird? What bird? Big Bird? I never trust that fucker. A Big Bird, average bird? Good. I didn't think he got out on probation, but I wasn't sure. Hoping he stays locked up for the rest of his fucking life. Look, I'm not going to talk about what went on the inside, not bro. Right? Big Bird knows what he did, though. He knows. He knows. YouTube paused my music again. Okay, 1,500 damage this hour. Pretty good pace. Please stop. Just went for a quick match in CR. I don't know what CR is. I don't know what that means. Okay, I think I'll go down to 187,000 and then pause there for the day. YouTube play Sheer Ice Stored. I hate Alexa. You're about to say stuff that will get YouTube to be 27 plus a Clash Royale. What do you mean 27 plus? Like age 27 plus? What? I have an Alexa? Unfortunately, yes, because... Okay, so my grandparents and my mom both have Alexas, and they like them a lot. And they got my sister an Alexa. And she doesn't want the Alexa. She doesn't like Alexa. I don't like Alexa. Neither of us like Alexa. But, so it's just sitting not plugged in, and it's never been set up. But they keep asking, like, oh, hey, have you set up your Alexa yet? How's your Alexa? I don't like Alexa. I don't like the fact that, it's just listening to me. I don't, it's just, no. No. Never had one, why do you not like it? It's basically just a corporate assistant that's listening to you and recording your voice and, or rather, learning off of your voice, and potentially just recording your data, and a lot of the things you say. Why would I want to give Amazon a microphone into my house? What useful things does it do? You can wire it up to make a smart home. I fucking hate smart homes. Get that shit away from me. I do not want to tell Alexa to turn on and off my lights, or start the oven, or change the thermostat. I hate that. You can ask it to buy things for you. Like, you can tell it to order something off of Amazon or whatever. You can basically do searches in search engines by just asking Alexa things like what the weather's like, a random piece of information, things like that. My student lives in an Amazon smart home and his entire home got disabled because a courier misheard his doorbell thinking it said something racist. What? I'm confused by what that means. You know, it's actually genuinely difficult to get certain... Alexa can lock you out of your home if it feels like you don't deserve it. Is the searching part sounds useful besides that you wouldn't trust a robot with your money when ordering things? I mean, you probably have to specifically enable Alexa to be able to do that, I would imagine. Like, I don't think by default it just takes your credit card information and is able to buy things. You got your Snapchat chat AI to say in emojis what 9/11 was. Is that supposed to be funny? 9/11 was 22 years ago. Is that still a funny topical joke? I don't... 9/11 exists. That people have been making fun of things around it for decades. I don't... It's not even that edgy anymore. You're just surprised? AIs are capable of a great many things. I hate the fact that Discord is trying to implement an AI chatbot into it. It was shocking that you were allowed to do it. I don't really see why that'd be that shocking. It's neither illegal nor that sensitive of a topic. Like, 9/11 really isn't that, like, edgy anymore. A lot of time's passed since it. In this case, where a bunch of lawyers outsourced the research to an AI, just say it didn't go so well. Is there any AI that's good at higher math yet? I don't know. I don't really follow AI stuff very much. AI probably got a lot of students to fail due to it being dysfunctional. I don't really care. I mean, students have been finding ways to cheat for centuries, if not thousands of years. And if you choose a shitty way to cheat, and you get caught because of it and fail because of it, that's on you. The AI did not cause the student to fail. The student caused themselves to fail by choosing to cheat. Oh, the AI detection tests? I mean, it depends on the teacher. It's generally fairly easy to prove that you wrote an essay. Timestamps, works in progress, drafts, things like that. Given the inaccuracy of the detectors, I would hope that no teacher would put too much stock in it. You can write to ChatGPT and ask if it wrote it. Well, people can modify AI-created essays. There's no perfect solution there. Alright, 300 to go, and I think I'll stop there for this stream. You don't think there's a way to stop students from cheating? No. If somebody is determined to find a way to cheat, they can find a way to cheat, regardless of how many restrictions or things you put in place. At least on, you know, certain things. I mean, it's generally fairly difficult to cheat in, like, interviews or like presentation projects in which you're like questioned and grilled on things, because that requires you to essentially come up with knowledge unassisted on the spot. But as far as things like writing papers, doing homework, it's tough to avoid people from cheating if they're determined to. Since as cheat detection gets more refined, cheating also gets more refined. It's an arms race. Alright, 270, and then we're taking a break. You've never cheated in the 8 years of school you've been through. Fun fact. I mean, it's fairly easy to not cheat. But it's also easy to cheat. The problem with cheating is mostly that it can become habitual very easily. And, you know, cheating on one little assignment here or there might not be too bad, but if you get into the slippery slope of starting to cheat on something and then therefore lacking the foundation and knowledge required to, you know, expand on that topic or course or whatever later, then you can get in a very difficult situation of lacking, knowledge and skills in practice, which can be quite problematic in the long term. It's an easy short-term solution, and it's unlikely you'd be caught in any one instance of it. But in the long term, it can be a lot more trouble than it's worth. I'm hungry. But you didn't hate your teachers, they always tried to get you back in trouble back in 5th grade? Why did you hate them, or why did they try to get you in trouble? Was it you hated them, so they tried to get you in trouble, or they hated you, so they tried to get you in trouble, and that caused you to hate them? What was... Like, what was the issue? Why did... Alright, 202. You play some Isaac? Alright, see ya. That was bitchy to you and just seemed to get on your nerves. Have fun. Oh. Alright. 178. We've used 193 Iron Skin potions by this point. You know, you have a challenge for yourself, which you get all the achievements in Terraria. Alright, good luck. Which ones are you missing? As long as it's not the fishing or the purification, it shouldn't take too long. Those ones can be pretty time consuming if it's those ones. Fishing? I'd suggest journey mode and use time control and researching to make it faster. I mean, if you research all the quest fish... Starting it back into Terraria and reach the start of playthrough on mobile. Nice, how's it going? That's good loot early on. You got the merchant. Nice. Huh. You decided to only get the PlayStation achievements because no purification or fishing. Understandable. I did the fishing achievements back when they were added in 1.3. They were a lot more annoying to get back then. It's a lot easier now, so it's not as bad. Back in 1.3, there was no journey mode, so you couldn't manipulate time or research quest fish that way. And, you could not sleep in beds. You can sleep now in 1.4, which helps speed up time even in the regular world. Also, pro tip. If you change your character's name, that resets the fishing quest for the day. If you rename your character, like back out to the menu and then rename your character, you can do multiple quests in the same day with the same character. Yeah, the game tracks whether or not you've completed the quest based on your name. So if you come in with a different named character, then you can do the quest again. I mean, really, the fishing quests are not that bad. If you use journey mode. Because remember, you can research quest fish, and then you can just, in the menu, set the time to 4:30 a.m. Immediately reset it. And then you have, you can get infinite quest fish, and you can turn off spawn rates, and, it's really not too bad. Alright, 54 more. I'd see a wet fish. Yeah, I'm about to go anyway. Only 41 more damage. Oh. God, I'm tired. I wonder if I'll have it in me to, do another stream tonight. We'll have to see how I'm feeling. I think we started today at 190,500. So we've done 3,500 damage over the course of the 2 streams. Is that right? Feels low. No, maybe I started this stream at 190,500. Did I? I don't remember. It's been about 2 hours, so I would have done a little under 3,000. I would have probably done about 3,000 damage this stream, which means probably 190,500 was right for this stream. Okay. Let's get that last point of damage in. There we go. Okay, 23,804. And 186,997. Alright. I will see if I feel up to later tonight. If not, tomorrow. Bye, everyone.